Greetings from the set of Metro and More at Metropolitan Community College, serving more than 50,000 students with over 120 programs at our 8 locations in the daytime, evening, weekends, or online. And I'm your host, Kent Pavelka. Welcome once again to Metro and More, more of what you need to know about Metropolitan Community College. Our topic in today's show is Skills USA at Metropolitan Community College. My guests are Bob Moss. Bob has been on the show a number of times. Bob is one of the video audio communications arts instructors at Metropolitan Community College. And Trevor Sikora, first time on the show. Trevor is construction technology instructor, and both of these gentlemen intimately involved, heavily involved, as is the college, with Skills USA. Good to have you both on the program.
Thanks for having us.
To discuss the program, Skills USA. Trevor, your first time on the show. Bob's been on. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. How long have you been at the college now?
I'm getting ready this upcoming quarter to start my 7th year here at the college. I'm one of 2 full-time construction faculty instructors here, and currently I'm serving on the board of directors for Nebraska for Skills USA.
Very good. Tell us, let's just start with a definition about Skills USA. What is it? You want to start, Bob?
Skills USA is an organization that teaches students professional technical skills and how to be successful in the workforce. And there are a lot of different categories. Like, my students compete in media type of competitions. So like this year, in the past we've always done television production, and this year at the state we did 2 new contests, one in digital cinema and one in audio recording, which they've always had those at nationals, but now this year was our first year to have those contests at the state level. Mm-hmm. So that's where my students compete. It's
basically a competition organization that in the end students have an opportunity to compete statewide and nationally even, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Skills USA, you know, they give you the technical definition. It's a nonprofit organization between teachers, students, and industry getting together to help build America's workforce. And the way they do that is they do put on a competition. There's almost 190 some odd competitions that students can compete in skilled and technical trade areas, and they compete here at the state level, and then if they win their competition at the state level, then they can go on and compete nationally.
Mm-hmm. And you have a group of students involved in construction technology in Skills USA, and you, Bob, in video and audio communications. What other areas at the college have Skills USA groups?
To name a few, there's students that compete in welding, precision machinery, residential wiring, automotive services, prepared speech, art sculpture, welding art sculpture, collision repair, cabinet making, masonry, teamworks, HVAC, cosmetology, firefighting. There's just a gauntlet. There's even extemporaneous speaking as a competition.
Maybe we could enter this program as a in the statewide competition.
They actually have a broadcast one too that we don't do at the state, where you actually go in as a team and actually switch, and you do a little newscast.
Yeah. So
that it could be a possibility.
Yeah. So the history of it, how far back has Metropolitan Community College been involved in Skills USA?
Well, Skills USA dates back almost 50 years. Most people might recognize it as VICA, which was Vocational Industrial Clubs of America, and that started back in around 1966. It originally chartered, I think, around 29,000 members, original members. Now today, we call it Skills USA. They changed their name in 1999 to Skills USA, and I think last year there was over 300,000 active members involved with Skills USA.
Do we know how many members involved at Metropolitan Community College?
Last year we almost had 100 students compete in Skills USA, just a little under 90 some odd students.
That's great. And how many in your areas?
I had 1 in radio production at the state level. I had 2 at the digital cinema, at state and 2 in video production at state. So I had 5 teams this year.
I'm the advisor for students that would want to compete in cabinet making, masonry, carpentry, and I'm a co-advisor for the Teamworks team. And I think last year in my individual expertise area, I think I had around 6 or 7 students competing. So
You referenced the Teamworks category or area. What's that?
absolutely. Teamworks is a competition that consists of an electrician, a plumber, a mason, and a carpenter. And they're charged with the task to put together or read a set of blueprints, put together a project plan, and then build this structure using all 4 different trades. And then, of course, they're competing against the other colleges statewide and nationally in this competition.
Very cool. I think maybe most instructive would be to show our viewers a couple of short videos of some of your students and how they got involved and what they do. And let's take a look at a clip involving some of Trevor's students here, first of all. I think these students talk about how they got involved, why, and about the competition.
My name is Joel Ramirez, and my role on Teamworks team was carpenter.
My name is Jonathan Herman, and I was the mason for the Teamworks team.
My name is Ben Siggy. My role on Teamworks was the electrician.
Alex Schinke, and I was the plumber for the Teamworks team.
I was introduced into Skills USA through my instructor Trevor Sikora at Metro.
I had an advisor approach me and asked me if I would be willing to be on the team.
I started out in high school, and then when I got to college, Trevor Sikora, one of my teachers, came up to me and asked me to join the Teamworks team.
It was kind of a crazy situation, but I had 2 advisors come into the classroom and actually approached me about the Skills Teamworks team and asked if I would be interested, and took off from there. So
Skills USA means to me it's just a way to showcase our skills and what we've learned in school and on-the-job training.
To me, means new experiences and getting to meet new people involved in the same thing as I am, such as construction.
It just means meeting new people and being able to work with a good group of guys that we've all become really good friends with without knowing them from the get-go.
it was just a great opportunity to showcase our talent as a team and some of our individual talents as well. And it was just a chance to try out against some of the best teams in the nation, and on a state level and also a national level.
When I complete my degree at Metro, I would like to go on and use my degree towards more residential framing and everything.
I hope to run my own company successfully. It'll be drywall construction company.
Just continue. I'm currently working in the field, so continue working in the field and eventually become my own boss.
Honestly, I like to potentially start my own business, but currently I'm working for my dad, so keep the business going for him right now.
So we got me pointing at you there. I was just curious about that, behind the students there. Where was that? Looked like a remodel job you were doing there.
Oh, actually, that is our lab, our classroom. You know, one of the things our students get to do in the construction technology program is build a house within the lab. So that was kind of the backdrop there for them.
And where is this? Which campus?
That is at the South Omaha campus.
South Omaha campus. So all these guys, they competed statewide in the state competition and the nationals?
Correct. You know, for the first time ever, Omaha hosted Skills USA this year, and those guys competed against all the other technical colleges across the state in the Teamworks competition. They won the state level, and then from there, in June, they host a national competition, and this year was in Kansas City, Missouri.
How'd they do?
They're national champions.
Wow.
You know, back-to-back national champions, so this is the second year in a row that they've won, so we're very excited for them.
Very proud.
Excited,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're very proud too.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Speaking of being proud, that one of our individuals on the banner behind us here, individual by the name of Zach, heavily involved in Skills USA.
Yes, Zach is one of our poster children. For,
Literally.
Yes, absolutely. For Skills USA. You know, Zach's been involved with Skills USA all through his high school career, one of his main factors of coming and choosing Metro is because we had a Skills USA chapter here, and he has just been a huge advocate for Skills USA. As soon as he got in with Skills USA or got here, he started promoting it, talking about it, seeing how he can get involved. And next thing you know, he's running to be a state officer for the college level, became the college technical president for Skills USA. And then from there, he decided that wasn't enough. So he wanted to go on more, so he started going to some national leadership conferences that were sponsored by Skills USA, getting his name out there, talking to other states and their directors and their students, and did some networking. And next thing you know, he decided, you know what, I think I want to be a national officer. So last year, Zach became the first national officer for Skills USA from the state of Nebraska. So that was very, very exciting.
And what's his status now? Is he almost done with
Yeah,
college?
actually, Zach is very ambitious. He's actually pursued several different degrees. He's got a degree in electrical wiring. He's finishing a degree in construction management. He serves as an electrician by day, but he also helps run a lawn care service that he started as he was going to school. So he's kind of out there doing a lot of different things, being very, very successful.
Bob, we've got a clip of one of your students that was involved in both state and nationals, right? Mm-hmm. This young man's name is?
Ronnie Massow.
Ronnie? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to that and take a look, and you can get an idea of what Metropolitan Community College is doing in terms of Skills USA in the video audio communications area.
My name's Ronnie Massow. I am a audio visual communications art major here at the Metro Elkhorn campus. I recently competed in Skills USA. My instructor, Bob Moss, came to me a couple months ago and talked to our class about Skills USA and said that there were scholarship opportunities, which is originally what got me interested in it. So I competed in the state level in the television production competition, and we had a prompt and we had to promote Skills USA. And we ended up, me and my team, we got runner-up. The first place team was unable to go to nationals, so we went in their place. So me and 5 other people went to Kansas City for the National Skills USA competition and competed in the television production competition. Our prompt was, again, to promote Skills USA, and we had 2 days, 1 day of shooting and second day of editing. And so it was really interesting to get a real world feel of how it all works with working on like a strict deadline and having like certain guidelines of what they want us to do and what they want us to accomplish. It was a really fun time going with other people from school and hanging out with them all week and just driving around Kansas City, going and seeing different things and hanging out. And it was a good time, and it was also a great experience. So I hope to do it again next year.
So Ronnie and part of the team. Mm-hmm. How many on the team?
There's 2 people on the team for television production.
And you did both state and nationals, right?
Yes. So they competed at nationals, and what they do is they go in and they get a prompt from the judges, and this year was promote Skills USA. They have to put a 1-minute piece together.
And we've got that.
Yes, we do have that.
And by the way, how'd they do?
They didn't place in the top 3. I think they were probably around 7th or 8th that I think I saw. Our digital cinema team came in 4th. It was one place out of finishing getting into the placements, which is pretty good. That's the first time we've ever competed in it. So it's pretty competitive down there.
So
this level.
Piece is the entry.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what they did for the contest.
Let's take a look at that.
Career technical education, it adds a little more of the real world sense to everything.
I think CTE is great because the workforce here in the United States is aging. And so we need people that are skilled and trained to replace those workers who are going to be retiring soon.
Graduated high school and cosmetology school. I'm 17. I have a full-time job already, so I'm just basically ahead of the game. All my other friends haven't even gone to college yet, and I'm doing what I love every day.
Metropolitan Community College and Skills USA, Bob Moss, Trevor Sikora, our guests on the show as we discuss what's involved. So what is involved? I mean, do they meet regularly, or how does it work?
For our students, I guess I say the recruiting process come around December timeframe because state is held in mid-April. So I start looking for students that are interested and telling them, hey, we're starting to look for people to compete in Skills USA. And then, we start working out schedules and if there's an after class time, maybe meet once a week and practice former state projects or this or that. For the Teamworks team, it's a little more demanding. Those guys are usually coming in every single Saturday for 3 months on their own time, practicing for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, it depends. We've even had them come in on a Mother's Day morning one time to get ready for a competition just because that was the only available time we get all 4 of them together.
Hey, there's sacrifice if you're going to be a national champion.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these guys really have paid their dues. If you're going to be on the Teamworks team, you got to really make that commitment to practice and get ready for that competition. It is pretty demanding.
So it's like a 1/4 of the year where you're really intensely involved?
Well, it depends. If they win the state competition, there's still another 2 months before national starts up. So, we
half
really.
a year, maybe.
Yeah, about a half a year that they could really be practicing and getting ready for these competitions.
Is that same kind of a deal for you,
I would
Bob?
say our students aren't as intense as that. Since it's a 2-person team, we usually start recruiting around December, January. And the college is so supportive of Skills USA, and a lot of the carrot I use for them is if they win the state level, the college has scholarships available to the students, and if they if they place at the national level, there are more scholarship opportunities for them. And the other thing is, with industry involved, depending on the competition, like the television video production that we just saw, I think the judge at nationals was really finding industry partners. I think each student that placed, or first place, would have got like $15,000 worth of, industry cameras, tools, software. But that depends on the competition too. So I mean, there's other things that helps the students too. That's how I really recruit it.
You can take a look at a couple of websites. There's a Skills USA Nebraska website and a national website as we discuss how this all works. And I'm just curious about the value of the experience for a student. This is the Nebraska website, I believe, isn't it? Or is it the national?
Yep, that's the Nebraska website, absolutely.
Yeah, and you can get more information on skillsusanebraska.org.
And on the Nebraska website, it's a good place where you can look at and you can at least see the different competitions and see if maybe there is a competition that you'd be interested in, and you can read a little bit about it and some of the technical standards and some of the criteria that's involved with competing in that particular competition.
But you'd need to be a student at Metro, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
At Metropolitan Community College, right. So that kind of information available for you on the Nebraska website. But again, what is the value beyond what you talked about, Bob, a moment ago?
I think another thing that's good for my students, in the classroom I don't put them in stressful situations, or I give them a lot of time, where in the real world they're going to have to compete, they're going to have to be on timelines, where at the state level they got 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 in the afternoon to produce something. So it puts them on a pretty tight timeline. And then at nationals, they get a day to shoot and a day to edit, depending on the competition, or a day to plan and a day to actually produce. So it's kind of neat to see, though, for me to see them in stressful situations.
So it's more of a real world kind of a deal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So that's how the competition works. You don't do something ahead of time and bring it and compete. You do it during the competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's for the Teamworks guys, they go in on at the national level, or even at the state level. It's either the night before or the day before, depending on the particular competition. But they get their blueprints then. So the next thing they're doing is figuring out their timeline, their building timeline, or their material list, their cut list. So they're spending that night cramming and
Sure.
getting these presentations and everything put together for that particular project.
Well, then how, you talk about preparation for the competition. How do you prepare for the competition if you have to wait for the competition to do the competition?
I mean, you guys probably have a better idea. Like the digital cinema, the prompt was, I'm trying to think of what it was. I can't remember the prompt, but they had to make a 5-minute movie within 3 days. I think they had 32 hours, and they gave them the prompt and said, we'll see you in 2 days.
Yeah.
And they had to come back and they had to produce a short film. So
what are these months of preparation? You can't prepare for that.
see, with our students, I mean, you really can't. I mean, their normal classwork would prepare them for
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
I guess with our students, of course we need to work on their skill sets. The more you swing a hammer, the better you're going to be at it. The more you lay brick, the better you're going to be at it. However, I think we're really pushing the critical thinking aspect. So when there is a change order, or when they switch and flip the house completely backwards and they've never seen this project before, they don't panic. They're not in panic mode. They're, all right, we know how to build, we know how to do this, we know how to cut rafters, we know how to frame out a window, we know how to put on siding, we know how to pull wire, we know how to solder pipe, whatever the case may be, we're just kind of rehearsing those skills and we're using old projects from the past. So competing consecutive years has really helped because we have the old project prints, so they can have something that is around the same scope or scale of what they're going to be seeing when they get to that competition.
Seems like the key words there are rehearsing skills. I mean, that's largely what you do before the competition, right?
And like in my competition, they got to budget their time too. Like I had one team that they had a lot of things go wrong this year. They got, the audio recording group got their piece in 14 seconds before the timeline, and they hit a wrong button on their software. So they turned in an audio track. They soloed something. So they probably came in last place this year, unless somebody else messed up that bad, because they didn't really budget their time. But it was a learning, it'll be a learning experience for the next group that might make it next year. So it's real world. The first team I ever sent down, I didn't get a go with them that year, so I just called and said, how you doing, how you doing? And they pretty much quit the competition. I mean, just because everything that could go wrong went wrong. And they didn't quit, but they couldn't finish.
Yeah.
Because just everything went wrong that year. So, I mean, it's preparing, and that can happen in the real world, that everything goes wrong. You can't plan for everything.
You guys obviously think very highly of Skills USA. I mean, the value that it gives a student.
Absolutely.
In addition to, the degree that you walk out of here with. Talk about that a little bit.
We could talk about the monetary value. The students that finish in the top 3 at nationals get a year scholarship to Metro Community College. So that's a huge value in itself. And then they call the national competition a $36 million day. That's how much money industry pumps into this, because they see the value of educating tomorrow's workforce. And some of the prizes those students get that Bob mentioned a little bit earlier is just unbelievable. Thousands of dollars in prizes for some of these competitions down there at the national. But more beyond the money and stuff that these students get, I would say just they get to showcase their talents against the best in the nation on a national stage in front of everybody. They get to see how Metro Community College stacks up against Utah, California, Iowa, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Texas. How are our students, and how are their skills compared to the rest of the nation? And that's pretty awesome to be able to do that.
I would assume it would translate perhaps to after college getting a job, having better skills, right?
Absolutely. I've had students come up and say they've been approached at nationals with job offers from industry people walking around and looking at these students. These students are very, very highly employable. And for the most part, I can't reference particulars here, but most of all of our students here that we've seen and talked about today are currently employed working in the career field that they've chose and the job that they love, and they just love going to work every day.
Yeah, and it's a good resume builder. I mean,
You bet.
that you were a state champion, you were involved in an organization. For video and audio people, it's another piece they can put on their reel and stuff. So it's good. The more they do, the better.
State championships in Omaha in the next 2 years, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. Where, and give us the details.
You know, it's going to be mid-April, usually the time of it, give or take a week in here or there, but it'll be at the CenturyLink Center.
Very cool.
Yeah, and for most part, almost all the competitions can be housed under one roof there. But you know, there'll be a couple of little breakouts like welding and stuff will be done at some different of the metro locations. But for the most part, yeah, it'll be all at the CenturyLink Center, open to the public. Usually it's ran on a Thursday, all day on a Thursday, and the award ceremonies are usually a Friday morning.
And this is Metro in charge of this or responsible for it?
I tell you, you know,
certainly intimately involved.
I was going to say one of the big factors, and a name I'd love to mention is Dr. Carl Fielder. You know, he's the director of career education and a huge advocate for Skills USA, and has done so much for the college and
We miss
bringing
him. We
that.
miss him on the show. He always wears his red jacket when he comes on.
Yes, yeah. He has just
I'm
done
gonna get
so
in trouble.
much.
I don't have mine.
Yeah, I know. He probably would have preferred me to have my jacket on. But no, and there's so many other people behind the scenes, the names I won't be able to mention, but him and an army of individuals really pushed to get Skills USA to Omaha, and it has just been such a huge success, and industry has just really grabbed a hold of it. And you know, this last year was just unbelievable, and I think it's just going to get bigger and better.
Couple of minutes left. Anything I've not asked you about that you think our viewers need to know about Skills USA?
I was going to add to what Trevor said, like with it being in Omaha, like it gave it a national feel because everything was under one roof. It was very, very nice setup. It was set up really nice, kind of like when you go to Kansas City, everything's under one roof. And I mean, Omaha did a really nice job with it.
So this will be the third year in a row?
This is the first year we did this year, so we got 2 more years.
So there's 3 in a row. 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row?
Is that right? 2 more years in Omaha?
Yeah, 2 more years. This
Okay,
will be our second year. So,
Very good. More information on the websites we showed you, and we've got, you guys will take phone calls, are reachable by email. Any last thoughts? Anything we haven't covered?
Well, you know, I just say if you're interested in Skills USA, you know, contact Bob or I. If we're not an advisor for a competition you're interested in, we have 21 instructors were advisors last year at the college. We can find one that is in your category, that are in your competition, that would be more than willing to help you and coach you along. And I don't know, if you want to get active, get active. It's a great way. You know, if you build your network, you build your net worth. And Skills USA is a great way to build your network.
Yeah, anything you can do along these lines while you're going to college just adds to your employability and your skill set. And it's a great opportunity. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Bob?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Trevor, appreciate it very much. And thank you for being with us once again for Metro and More. Our goal is to acquaint you with the mission, leadership, and the reach of the college. I'm Kent Pavelka for Metropolitan Community College.
This has been a MetroVision production produced by Metropolitan Community College.
Start advancing your career now while working full-time. Metropolitan Community College makes it possible and convenient. Choose from more than 300 degrees and awards in career and technical areas, including construction and building science, where you can earn a degree, certificate, or specialist diploma in the field of construction. Get started today. Go to mccnev.edu/advance. Metropolitan Community College, 40 years of excellence.